Big Zay!
Morning, Brad.
Morning, boys. What's going on?
Well, you got the story. You were up there. You were taking on the weather yourself, for God's sake. You know exactly what went down. We've concluded that the Bears ended up really making a very big statement in the second half of that game. You don't want to get over the top about it, but they made that into a game when it looked like, especially at the end of the half, when they had the bad kickoff, they were going for the cutesy, dirty kickoff after a guy just kicked the field goal. It was just tough. And then to give up that touchdown, it felt embittering. And somehow they managed to get themselves together, force a 3-and-out, and come back in the second half of that game.
Yeah, they were really able to kind of get a tempo going with the running game and really get physical, I thought, with the Packers, where you didn't see them bust off any really long runs, but it was 4 here, 5 there, 6 here. And they changed the complexion of the ball game. Really thought there was an opportunity to win it there at the end. I thought if they scored a touchdown there on that final drive, I had little doubt, in my mind anyway, that Ben Johnson would opt for the 2-point conversion and the win and attempt to bypass overtime at Lambeau Field. I think the physicality of the game and the way they were able to kind of control the ball there for a decent stretch of the game gives them certainly some reason for optimism when they play again in 2 weeks. First, they've got to take care of business against the Cleveland Browns, and that defense will be as good as Green Bay's, if not better.
What did you learn about the Bears in defeat, Brad?
I don't know that anything really new jumped out, Dave. Like, they didn't rush the quarterback a lick yesterday, right? They had, one quarterback hit, I think, for the game. That we didn't learn that. We've known that all season. Now, Dennis Allen has done a nice job of manufacturing pressure, of scheming it up, of generating it at key times, and they weren't able to pull that off. And that's going to happen from time to time, and it's going to happen when you're playing better quarterbacks, which Jordan Love's in that category, and that really hurt them. I think you guys talked about it a little bit earlier, how some of the explosive plays they gave up were in situations where the pressure didn't get home, and then there were like the Bo Melton 45-yarder there right before half that puts them up 14-3. Like they're set up there to force the ball to go underneath. They think they've got protection deep, and the Packers are still able to get over the top there. Bears only rushed 3 on that play. They had 8 in coverage. So that should not happen there. But I didn't sense gloom and doom in the locker room at all. They know they can play with that team, and but they also understand first order of business is the Browns. The Bears aren't good enough to skip over anyone on any Sunday. You see too much crazy stuff happen in the NFL. I mean, that Browns team, guys, earlier in the year beat the Green Bay Packers.
This segment with Brad Biggs is sponsored by Est Wing Professional Tools, made in the USA for over 100 years, estwing.com. Brad, I don't know the reason why, but it seemed as if there was a plot to injure DJ Moore going on in that game. He got a couple of touches of the ball, one on a reverse at the line. It was almost as if he was being tackled when he got the ball. Tom Brady actually marveled that he didn't fumble it. And then he was targeted 3 times. They completed 1 pass for -4 yards. Again, he was already being wrapped up and dropped when the ball was delivered. I don't understand how with Rome Odunze out, he wasn't featured in the game plan. And the very fact that even on that last play, I mean, he leaked out late. I understand that. But he was just beyond an afterthought in that game. Why? Why not feature your most expensive receiver?
First third down of the game, he's open. Caleb throws for him, and he would have needed, like you're not talking about a step ladder. You got to grab the ladder that you need to use to get out on top of the garage. The throw was that high, and so you're looking for him right there, and that moves the chains if that throws on the money. Yeah, that's a hard one to say. Caleb had to run around a bunch. Some of that was by design. I think, it'd be interesting to go back and look at this. How many bootlegs did they actually have called, which was just trying to keep him out of harm's way, maybe reduce the reads a little bit as well. But, yeah, DJ should be a bigger part of the offense, and that's something I'm sure they want to address. But there were some throws to him that could have, should have been made, and they weren't. And I think that's probably a frustration for everyone. In terms of that final play where he leaks out late, like that's a really tricky throw, I think, for Caleb.
Yes.
With his momentum carrying him the other way. And the other thing I think is as open as DJ appears, that he's going to have to find a way to put some mustard on that pass, or that window is going to close quickly. But the Packers just completely blew that play. They're triple teaming DeAndre Swift, so he's really not an option there. You get what you're trying to accomplish there. You have confused the Packers. You've got a drop covered. Nobody goes with the tight end Komet. I heard you guys talk to Olin 7 o'clock hour about the possibility of Caleb running that. I think if he's decisive immediately that I'm going to run for this, I think he probably gets there. There's gonna be a collision, but I think he probably wins that foot race. So that's an option. And then, as you mentioned, Swift, a good throw to Komet, a quicker throw to Komet, because again he was not covered. Tashawn Nixon was supposed to cover DJ on the play, and he dropped him when DJ was sort of meandering through the backfield. Is a touchdown, and then we're talking about the choice that Ben Johnson made afterward, which I think most people probably figure would have been the 2-point conversion.
Why do you think the Packers were so effective against the blitz, a blitz that confused Jalen Hurts, did not Jordan Love? Was it just as simple as the Packer receivers had better matchups? Or I'm not quite sure, because, Brad, the numbers show that Jordan Love carved up the Bears whenever they came after him.
Yeah, some of the ball's coming out pretty quick. Some of it, not all of it. Like the catch and run for Watson. What was that? 41 yards to the house.
Poor tackling.
I think they're bringing pressure there, but the ball's coming out right away, and he just ran away from C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And you saw that earlier in the game too. I think it was Jaden Reed was running a deep over, and Gardner-Johnson's just trailing, and he's struggling to keep up. If he can't be physical with the wide receiver at the line, he's going to have a hard time sticking with them unless they're real mutters. And those guys can run a little bit. And so you saw Gardner-Johnson exposed a little bit in those situations. Shame they didn't have Kyler Gordon available. That situation's just taken one bad turn after another. I have no idea what their latest diagnosis or look at this thing is, but with everything that's happened to him, I don't know how you could possibly sit there and game plan and be like, oh yeah, we're going to have Kyler Gordon, we're going to be all right.
Do you think they'll have him again this year? I mean, how bad was that if he pulled the groin?
I don't know. He's had a 3-pack of soft tissue injury, guys. He's had the groin, the hamstring, and the calf. Injuries happen in football. If it's a broken arm or a sprained ankle, this is just a recurring, not ending series of soft tissue injuries, and it's difficult to adjust them. Heck, they had to get out onto the street to bring a guy in to help provide them some cover, and it's not like they even had the time to look at their roster construction for Sunday and say, okay, we'll deactivate Tyler and we'll give this guy a uniform.
Right.
Like, this happened in the 90 minutes between inactives being due and the ball being kicked off.
Brad, Mully and I have talked about this morning already, the pacing and the clock management of the final drive. We both understood not wanting to let the Packers get the ball back too early with time on the clock. Others have suggested it was poor clock management and a lack of urgency by the offense. What did you see from the press box and learn in the locker room postgame?
Yeah, I get why people are maybe saying that. Kyle Monangai picks up that 3rd and 1 run.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a conversation, right? Like, look at how much time would be on the clock then, and you're talking about a first down and a fresh set of downs with the Bears having the timeouts remaining. They'd have been in good shape. So I don't think it was poor clock management. Certainly, you didn't want to leave the Packers with a whole lot, because if the Bears score there and get the 2-pointer, Green Bay only needs the field goal to pull away there. So people could be critical of that. What they should be critical of is the poor execution. Monangai being stopped on 3rd and 1, and then the pass to Kmet. Packers will even tell you, we screwed that up. He was wide open.
I wonder, Brad, the Loveland touchdown catch, that was a very interesting play where they put the offensive tackle,
Benedict.
the backup tackle, Theo Benedict, in motion. And honest to God, it looked like he might be open. They might throw to him, but he got cleared out. He was
cut.
That was an illegal play. Meanwhile, Loveland sneaks out across the offensive line and is wide open. I mean, it was like a lot of the plays that Ben Johnson calls. There are a couple elements to it, so you got an easy touchdown. But then you saw Ben Johnson going off on an official after that because of the illegal cut. It just made me wonder if we were going to have another Hot Dog Tuesday.
Well, yeah, I don't know that we need to hand out any more free hot dog products, but Benedict was the number 1 read there, and he got chopped down like a tree in the forest. But you saw him athletic and moving there. Like, better be careful trying to chop a guy like that down, because if you miss a little bit, like his kneecap catches your helmet, it might be good night. But that's the beauty of a lot of these play calls that Ben has. It's like, well, it's supposed to go here, but then we've got this option, and
yes,
you can consider this, and then we could potentially have this, depending on what happens. And one of them is an uncovered guy who's certainly more experienced at catching the ball than Benedict. You've got an easy touchdown on. I think that was
okay.
That was first down.
It was 3rd and 1. It was 3rd and goal from the 1.
Yeah.
I look at it as
the Zacchaeus one that was
what a play that was.
But back to the Benedict, Brad. I'm glad he got cut in half. Went down.
You'd prefer,
yes, throw to the tight end, not the guy who blocks for a living. I think, and 3rd down and 1, the element of surprise. Yeah, are you clever? Absolutely. Take the gimme. Throw it to the tight end.
It wasn't, Dave. It was a gimme that the tight end wasn't covered.
Yes.
I mean, what are we arguing about?
Yeah, we're not arguing. Just the first option being the tackle.
Just observing it because of how hot he got about it with the official. I mean, he definitely was not pleased.
You think that was a tackle-eligible play that they...
I do.
Yeah.
They said the tackle was eligible when he came in, and then I was looking at the play.
Both sides were...
Yes.
Both sides were hot with the officials too, guys. Because
yes.
there was very late in the game during a timeout. They kept showing the same pass rush by Micah Parsons over and over on the giant video boards at Lambeau Field.
Right.
I mean, they make it look like when you're at Soldier Field, guys, you're watching TV on a 13-inch television. Okay, they do it right there.
They were complaining about a hold. They felt
he got held.
Yeah.
Parsons, like Darnell Wright had his right arm around his neck, and he's like pulling on him. Like you're looking at it, you're like, oh boy, wow. And LaFleur was extra animated with the official on the sideline. So I think both sides have some plays that they were not thrilled with.
What do you think of Jalen Johnson's play?
Yeah, I think I don't think anybody's expecting him to be fully healthy considering the time he was out, and you saw them have a plan to kind of work him in yesterday. You saw Nick McLeod get some action that probably would have gone to Kyler Gordon had Kyler been healthy, and McLeod actually made a couple plays out there. I believe he had a pair of pass breakups. So it's like maybe best case scenario is Jalen's back to full strength by the final game, but that's probably wishful thinking anyway. He just missed a ton of time. He had surgery.
Yep.
I'm sure his body just isn't as strong as he'd like, as everyone would like, but he's out there, and they're going to have a huge challenge again in 2 weeks with the Packers. I don't know that that Browns passing game has a lot going on in it, but chance for him to show improvement next Sunday against Cleveland as well.
I'm curious about obviously Odunze and what does a stress fracture mean to his availability going forward, and also Tyreek Stevenson, because he wasn't even close this week.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go back and look. I think Stevenson might have been limited on Friday.
Oh.
I could be wrong. So hopefully he's moving in the right direction. Here's what I can tell you about Odunze is saw him last week. No walking boot, no so that's that leads me to think, and again, you start making speculation on injuries, guys, and
right.
95% of the time you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're playing darts in the pitch dark, but leads me to believe that it's probably something that's painful when he runs, or even more so maybe when he cuts, and they just need a little time with it. If it was more severe, you would certainly expect him to be outfitted in a walking boot. And he didn't have one when I saw him multiple times last week.
Great stuff, Big Z. Great job as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
Have a great day, guys.
You too.